I am Nick Shell, a certified Enneagram coach. You're watching this video because you want to learn what I learned. I'm regurgitating. I'm like the mama bird, like spitting the chewed up worms in your mouth. That's a great way to start a video. The first 10 seconds. This is gonna have to be a great video if that's the opening. So here we go. The Honest Enneagram by Sarajane Case. I read this book, loved it, took lots of notes, and I'm making a video for each of the 9 Enneagrams, sharing my notes for each of them. So let's talk about 6s. I know 6s very well. Why? I'm married to one. Next week makes 14 years we've been married. My mother is a 6, as is my mother-in-law. So I'm surrounded by 6s. And I love 6s. And as I've learned from this book, one of my wings is actually a 6, but we'll get to that later. So 6s are the trusted integrator. It says that as far as what 6s are looking to do, they're looking for rules and guidelines to follow. If they're self-preservation, they're processing fear is what it says. They're processing fear. If there is self-preservation, processing fear by the need to be protected. If they're social, like my wife, it says they're processing fear to make the needed connections to be safe. And if there's the sexual or the one-to-one, then they are processing fear to deny fear and face it head on through a position of strength, which that one can actually look more like an 8. So a little bit more complicated with 6. It's not quite as straightforward, but ultimately it's all about their relationship with fear and getting what they need out of life. So let's go through my many notes on this. Here we go. So it says 6s need hobbies. They need movement practices, meditation. That's their growth. So having a routine that's fun, a hobby, and moving on a daily basis, like my wife does bar class, whatever that is, some kind of yoga thing, I don't know. It says 6s are the superhero in waiting. They operate in integrity of what will truly benefit the group. It takes longer to earn their trust. They're by default more skeptical. It says may give too much authority to other people in their life. 6s fear the future, but not the present. 6s, it says growth is listening to self, not others. That is where you actually find safety and security. I was on a walk this morning, and I have a friend who is older than me, and that's something he was telling me that he saw in me, because again, I've got a 6 wing apparently. He was telling me basically to listen to myself more. It says the growth is listening to yourself, not others. That is where you actually find safety and security. 6s highly underutilized in relationships and organizations as an untapped resource. It's easier to focus on what you lack than on what you want. It says 6s use anxiety as a tool, but it's not a way to actually be ruled yourself. It says, when we worry, we live through the hard things twice. I love that quote. I can make a video on that. Let me read it again. A video just on that. When we worry, we live through the hard things twice. That's awesome, isn't it? It's so true. It says, with worry, you're living through the outcome either way. Also true. It says, 6s are always equipped for when things go bad. So ultimately, why would you worry? And it's easy to say that, I guess not if you're a 6 though, right? It says, accept kindness and love instead of running it through a filter. Wow, this is all like Enneagram enlightenment stuff, isn't it? But this is what 6s need. It says, maybe too easy to see people with different values as a threat if you're a 6. It says, not knowing is the worst case scenario for a 6. So it's not that the sky is falling, but what if it's worse than the sky falling? And you not knowing that is even worse than the sky falling, if the sky falling even is a threat. It says, many of your fears are unrealistic, specifically if you're a 6. It says, incorporating diversity is growth. Danger, using friends as sounding boards for all decisions. Danger, worrying yourself out of sharing life experience with others. If a real crisis occurred, then you would stop worrying and just act. That's what you would actually do if you're a 6. So that's some good news. It says, release friendships that are not serving you. And it says, being creative is growth. That's what I learned about Enneagram 6s. Your comments belong right here.